Before I begin, allow me to say thanks for clicking on my video. Just so you're aware, I will not be giving a numerical score, but rather conveying my opinions and how I felt in a non-spoiler fashion. With that out of the way, let's begin. I've heard nothing but praise for Tunic ever since its launch roughly 3 years ago on March 16th, 2022, but it was only recently that I decided to take that plunge. In total honesty, the first time I booted up Tunic and saw its top-down simplistic art style, I had a fleeting thought that it didn't seem like much. Not that I have anything against simple top-down games. I mean, I recently replayed A Link to the Past and had a ton of fun. But that being said, I had never truly seen any gameplay of Tunic, only heard about it, and so I was momentarily surprised by its presentation. More so the art than the viewpoint. What I came to learn, however, is that Tunic hides a dizzying amount of depth behind that simple veneer. If you solely enjoy games that hold your hand and load up your screen with markers and mini-maps, then Tunic is likely not for you. With this wonderful little game, the player has to figure out most things for themselves, which is honestly how I like it. The only clues as to what the player should be doing, and even the controls to play the game, are contained within pieces of an in-game manual that can be found throughout the world. Sometimes easy to collect, and sometimes locked behind intricate puzzles. These manual pages combine sparse English text, or I suppose whatever language you play the game in, and an initially nonsensical language, as well as beautifully drawn illustrations. Even to those giving the pages a cursory glance, it should be possible to discern what is being conveyed. But to those that look deeper, and I mean deep, each page has much more to it than meets the eye. The system breeds excitement for each new manual page discovered, as they have the capability to completely upend how you play and view the game. That's not an understatement whatsoever. I can recall numerous pages that when I got them and started looking through them, it kind of blew my mind, and I sort of felt like an idiot, and at the same time I was also just amazed at the masterful way that the developers integrate simplistic mechanics. While I won't get into specifics, I will say that the amount of hidden content is absurd, to be quite frank. Filled with secret paths, puzzles, abilities, and more, there is a vast amount of depth for those eager to put their brain and exploration skills to use. During your initial playthrough, the path will likely seem fairly linear, even after you begin to glimpse the hidden complexity on display. Future playthroughs, however, have the potential to look completely different than what you initially thought possible. I'm talking secret paths, weapons that completely change the way you play, completely skipping entire areas. It's really, truly amazing what they've done with this game. The way it hides so much in plain sight is just simply masterful, and it left me reeling with each new layer I unraveled and figured out. The moment-to-moment gameplay is enjoyable, yet admittedly simple fare. Your basic attack and dodge moves can eventually be augmented by all manner of different items and special moves, eventually transforming into an experience, to me, reminiscent of Dark Souls. Now I know that sounds like an odd comparison, however, what I'm specifically referring to is the boss fights. Now, in this footage I will not be showing any boss fights, just to avoid spoilers, but trust me, when you're this little guy confronting gargantuan monstrosities with just a sword in your hand, and you have to dodge roll out of attacks and drink potions when you take damage. I mean, I suppose that's quite simple gameplay, but still, to me it felt like Dark Souls nonetheless, although that might have something to do with me having played a lot of Dark Souls games around the same time as when I played Tunic. Who can say? But anyway, back to bosses. There are 3 specific bosses in the game that carry a lot of importance, and each one felt like a surprising jump in difficulty compared to everything that came before, which again is why I compare it to Dark Souls in my mind. The first of these 3 bosses that I encountered, I actually decided to leave and return later once I got stronger, instead choosing to explore alternate paths and grind away against the other routes and bosses contained within. Each battle, while challenging, is a lot of fun, and it feels great to finally fell the foe standing in your path Let me tell you, the third major boss that I fought took me so many tries, but when I finally did it with just a sliver of my HP remaining, it felt glorious. And I had my nieces. My nieces were watching me play, enraptured, I guess, with all like the colorful lights and stuff going on the screen, and just seeing their reaction to when I finally beat the boss, them being all excited for me and with me, really only elevated the moment, I must say. The final main point that I want to discuss is the story. Much in the vein of something like Hollow Knight, there's not much given to you. The entirety of the story has to be pieced together by your own experiences and the clues left in the world. Rather than an intense, dialogue-heavy narrative, Tunic seeks to immerse you in its adventure and convey to you the sense of mystery within. To make another comparison, I suppose I would liken it to something like Breath of the Wild, where the actual story is very sparse, and it's really the world and the gameplay that shape what the story of that game is, what your experience with that game is. More than once as I played, I got chills as I stumbled upon an interesting area and thought about what it might mean for the larger lore of Tunic. There's a depth here for those willing to unearth it, but otherwise leaves the narrative hands-off. As I said earlier, the depth is simply absurd, and if you want to go through the game only engaging with the bare minimum, scratching the surface, you can do that. But for those that want to go deeper, you can go all the way down to bedrock. Overall, Tunic is a wonderful little adventure that took me around 30 hours for full completion. Though certainly it will only take half that for those less interested in uncovering everything there is to see. Notably, this is the first game to cause me to pull out a pen and paper in years. In truth, many of my final hours came from staring at the in-game manual and attempting to decipher its secrets. I kid you not, I would just open the game, go straight to the manual, and then just stare at the pages and looking down with a pen and pencil and just writing down ideas and erasing other ones and just trying to figure out what the game was trying to tell me. You know, despite that being less conventional, I really loved it, I gotta say. It was taxing work to be sure, but it was infinitely rewarding as the game completely unveiled itself to me. And everything, even the in-game language that initially appeared nonsensical, became like an open book to be read. Towards the end of the game, I could look at a passage and almost, maybe not almost instantly, but I could fairly quickly decipher what it was trying to tell me. And that was so cool. If Tunic has captured your interest whatsoever, whether that's through this review or anything else you might have seen or heard about it, then I would strongly urge you to give it a try and see if it is for you. Additionally, I would similarly urge you to attempt to figure things out yourself without any sort of outside help or guides. The experience will be all the more rewarding as things come together in your mind with a satisfying click. This little adventure isn't one you will soon forget, and I sincerely hope you enjoy it and that you give it that chance, and that if you do decide to go deeper, I wish you all the luck. You're gonna need it. Guys, thanks for watching this review. I have not done a game review in a long time, and I enjoyed this one. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, all the other things everybody else tells you to do, right? I don't know, see if there's something on my channel that you like. I would love to do more videos, but I can't really think of a lot of ideas for stuff I want to do. However, I do like streaming video games. I make a lot of shorts on my channel. At the moment of recording this, all of my shorts pertain to Fire Emblem. So if that is something that interests you, go and check it out. Maybe if you're watching this in the future, I have other diverse content in my short category, but that's not something that I can speak on. Regardless, please go check it out. I'd appreciate it. 100% appreciate it. Thanks for watching, folks. This is Pupido McMuffin out. Gosh. That sounds so weird to say my name like that. But for those that don't know, I'm not gonna get into it. Never mind. I was gonna get into it, but I'm not gonna get into it. Just get out of here. Go watch another video. Thanks. Bye.